All right. Well, hello. Welcome to the podcast. Today I have Jack Napier, and we were bullshitting before we started. But before we continue, we need to know his origin story. So, where is the name from?
Okay, Napier is very simple. Napier was, according to Alan Moore's The Killing Joke, the Joker's real last name. The Jack part, however, I already had. That was already my nickname.
But it's not your actual name.
Because, no, it's not my actual name. It was my actual nickname. Because years ago, when I was, how old was I? Yeah, I was probably 18, 19, somewhere around there. I went to a party of a friend of ours, Mia Watson. Watson's my best friend. We went to this party of, like, this was a rich girl family. Her father and mother were lawyers or whatever, and they had this huge estate, and they were throwing a yard party. And I would always bring Jack Daniels, most horrible, atrocious whiskey there is. But it was cheap. It was Scotch whiskey, bourbon actually. And no, is it? Yeah, it's bourbon, right? Jack Daniels is bourbon.
I know nothing
I
about
believe.
alcohol.
Yeah, before I say something stupid,
Insult all the alcoholic listeners.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
No, how
God,
could you
what was
say
it
that?
again?
I'm unsubscribing.
Yeah, I haven't drank in ages. I haven't drank in ages, so I can't remember what it was. Tennessee whiskey. There it is. It's whiskey. There we go. But so we were on that yard party, and I was just carrying that bottle with me. And at a certain point, as I tend to do, I was just wandering off, talking to people I've never met. Like, hey, who are you? Who are you? Blah, 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 this, blah, blah, that. And Watson kind of lost me. And he was talking to the girl who was throwing the party. He ended up dating her later on. And all of a sudden, I ran into them, and they were laughing, and they were yelling, Jack! Jack! And at first, I didn't respond. And Watson comes up, and he's like, respond, you idiot. I'm like, who? Like, where did you get that from? And apparently, her dad showed up, and like they were looking for me, and he had seen me, like this kid, 19-year-old kid with a bottle of fucking whiskey. He's like, "Where's that Jack kid?" Like, who? Jack. And they were like, "Who do you mean?" Yeah, the kid with the Jack Daniels. They're like, "Oh," and that's how I got the nickname Jack. But then I started my manosphere thing, red pill, talking about it online, swapping notes, and I'm like, Sparrow's too much on the nose. So I went with Napier, and here we are.
All right.
Not even drinking anymore. I haven't had alcohol in years, but that's how I got it.
So
So stupid.
how did you get into the red pill stuff? And actually, the further question is like, how have you changed? Yeah, because I remember being like a fucking loser teenager, raised badly, no self. The story of how guys like us, none of us start out as like healthy, well-adjusted human beings. We're like, well, maybe you did.
Well, what? Whoa, no, not at all. I did not did not have a happy upbringing. I'll tell you that much. No, where did it all start? So, you have to forgive me. The cold is not completely gone. Where did I start? So, I was always able to get a girlfriend. That was never the problem, but I just couldn't keep them.
Hmm.
Like, there was always somewhere in the relationship where everything fell off, and she just fell out of love, and we broke up. One moment. There we go. And there was this one girl who she broke up with me, but then she went back to the guy who cheated on her with 3 different girls.
Respect.
And I'm like, what the hell? And I knew a little bit about hypergamy, where women go for like their best option, who could provide and who was a safe bet and a good father, this and that. But I'm like, yeah, but she's going back to the guy who cheated on her 3 times. I don't get that. So I delved a little deeper into it, and then I found Rich Cooper, and so I found Rollo, and then I found that Puck quote that said, women would rather share a successful alpha than be saddled with a faithful beta. And I'm like, oh, so that's why she went back to the guy who cheated on her with 3 different women. Now I get it. And then I just leaned more into that, where it's like, oh, wait a minute. They don't even care if I provide. They don't care about that. They just want me to be fun. And ever since then, I kind of became an aloof asshole, which, I mean, in all honesty, I still haven't got it down like 100%. Like, till this day, still not. Like, it's not like I have the best relationships of all. Not at all. Like, right now, I'm just single.
Like really, really single?
But
Like
you,
no.
yeah. It's like, oh, just give me a breather, give me a breather. I tried Tinder again, and I was like, oh, no, please, no, not again. At a certain point, you just become tired of it. There's no, and I even, what was it? I made a tweet about that. I have once again endeavored into the above 28 range on
Oh no.
Tinder. And I was just, oh my God, like first hit. It's like 31-year-old where it's like, I'm a born again Christian and you need to accept I have a child. I'm like, oh no. The joke. I found the meme,
No,
boys.
it's real. It's absolutely real. Uh,
It's sad, but I mean, I laugh, but it's so sad.
I've been reading Reddit because I'm looking for like ideas for content, and like all the typical stuff, everything that it just exactly what you expect. It's like, oh, I'm 36. What do I do with my life, woman? What do I do with my life? Like I've done this and this and this, but it doesn't feel satisfying. Like, yes, that's reality. And like, so all the stuff that these guys talk about, we're not making it up. They're not
It's
making it
true.
up. Rollo isn't making it up. He's not just like pulling it out of the ether.
No, and not even Rolo. I mean, and when you look at the red pill Reddit in the previous old days, and even married red pill, it that's why it became so popular, because it struck a
It's
nerve.
yeah, like
Like,
we're not talking about like, hey, I saw Bigfoot. It's like I've seen this 5 times in my life.
I was so weird. Like, I scroll through 9gag every now and then all of a sudden we got red pill memes. I'm like, oh, hello. But and you look at the comments, and of course, some of them are like, oh, you still been misogynist, you just hate women. But a majority of them, like, yeah, been there, yup, seen
Yeah,
that. It's like, welcome to the current state of the world. Yeah, sorry, guys. That's just it.
yeah.
That's what you have to deal with. And this is why you don't put Tinder above 25.
Well, I guess at that point you may as well just meet people in person. Um, One of the things I dislike when I see like various like people who are trying to help guys, like they really want to discount like the reality of life. Like all these
Yeah.
evil red pill men. I'm like, look, just because you got lucky enough to like get married at 22 because you like were in the right
Hmm.
place with the right person with the right upbringing, like that's just not an option for everybody.
And even then, like, is marriage a merit for success? Because I know one, two, three, four. I know 4 couples who met in high school, and only 2 of them are a couple where I'm like, yeah, you know what? I respect that. They're happily married. They've got great kids. She still looks great after the pregnancy, where it's like she's still a total wood. The guy's happy, she keeps him happy, everybody's happy, and then the other 2 are just miserable because they wanted to get married because that was a success thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, marriage is not a success state, but you know, even with people
no.
in good relationships, I think a lot of people who like try to help guys and they like, oh, let's make a business out of like totally bashing the red pill. Like
Oh
like
yeah.
they like don't get like what the reality is for most men. Like the real reality. And you can't. If you like been happily married for 20 years, like you just don't get it. You
Hmm.
have no idea what it's like.
No, it's the same thing as natural. It's like, just approach her, bro. Just draw the owl and you'll be there. It's like, it doesn't work like that. Even for me, even though like I never had trouble getting a girlfriend, but like I mentioned, I always lost them. I still lose them. I know, like it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, I guess. But that doesn't mean there goes a whole process before that. Like, I've always been social. This is just the thing. I talk easily to new
You
people.
tolerate people talking in your
But
spaces about complete
yeah.
nonsense.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Within merit. There are things that can go too far. Not a lot, but, you know. But I do at least have the self-awareness to say, hey, not everybody is like that. There is a huge part of that on the internet where it's like, well, it worked for me, be like me.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but that... And same with what you just mentioned, that hating on red pill is now a business
Yep.
model, where the weird thing is they spout these red pill talking points, but they put a bow on it where it's like, we're the friendly version of the red pill, where it's like, mother, get out of here. And their whole entire marketing shtick is attacking Rolo or attacking... who else do they attack? Like red pill in general. It's either Rolo or red pill in
Well,
general.
Rolo's there. He's like
Kind of
kind
thing.
of accessible, right? It's like you can't attack like Socrates, but you can go after Rolo
Now,
because he's got a temper. I guess he's going to respond to you.
yeah, but it's always every time, and I mean, I am known for like being a little ankle biter every now and then with Rolo, just because I love giving him shit. I just like doing it. It's not even a particular reason. I just like doing it. But every time I see his haters, I'm like, man, you really do deserve better haters. Because they always attacking him something like, look, haven't you read his book? It's right there on page, name something, 97. Like he says it right there. There it is. That's where he states what you say he is not stating. It's right there. Then they attack him on something else. Like it's like, he wears a beanie, so it's like, oh
He's
no.
old. God forbid. Like that's something.
Yeah, and he's married for 25 years, and man, he hangs out with porn stars in Vegas or whatever they are, bottle girls, service girls,
Yeah.
and and a happy marriage. I mean, the guy's kind of winning.
Yeah. My take on it has always been like, I may not agree with all the prescriptions of the red pill, but that's like such a small percentage. Such a small percentage of it is like, do this. And the majority of like, here's the world. Here's what's happening. Here's why things are happening.
Yeah.
And those are usually so freaking accurate, like the majority of the time.
The only prescription I would say we really have, is go lift, because universally everybody or nobody could argue against it. That's the only real prescription where it's like, yeah, you know what? Go lift, become attractive.
Yeah, I mean that's the one I talk about that sometimes. It's like lifting will help you become attractive, won't help your mental health. I think like the reason most people don't do well in relationships is like they're unwell inside, and like yeah, you can make yourself more attractive by lifting, you can make more money, but like
Hmm.
if you choose women that are unable to form an attachment to you and you aren't able to form attachment with them, it's not going to work. It's going to blow up. One
Yeah, I mean, you lifting 225 won't help her mental
no.
health. That's true. It will help your own, though. I do have to push back on that a little bit. Lifting has proven to severely improve someone's mental health, even better than
Oh well,
SSRIs.
I mean, yeah. If you're comparing to like drugs, then I agree. I'm one of those.
Yeah, SSRIs are
Oh my
garbage.
god,
Sorry.
I don't know if this is that's why not. Uh, Back when I was significantly, around and younger, I started realizing
Hmm.
like you can tell if you're hooking up with a girl and she's on SSRIs because she can't
Oh,
feel
really?
anything. Like I remember,
Oh,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
I know what you mean.
I
Yeah,
was with this
I know what you
girl
mean.
and I was like, this is such a weird experience. I'm like, are you enjoying? She's like, oh yes. I'm like, are you sure? Like, and I'm like, wait a minute, are you on
Yeah,
antidepressants? She's like, yes. I'm like, oh my god,
never again.
yeah, yeah. Never again. I was like, and then it repeats, and you're like,
Just
okay, it's not me. I think I know what I'm doing. I've had moderately good reviews, but this
hmm
person is just like
hmm
not literally not feeling it. Like, oh, okay, these really mess with your head.
or they do feel it, and you're still... there's this... something's
Something's
off.
off. Yeah.
Just something is off where you're like, I don't know. Like you know this when you've had a girl who's like 100% into you, and you know she's not on something. They... and the best description I could give is like, she almost wants to drink
Hmm.
you. Not literally, but like, you know what I
That's
mean? Like, she
yes.
can't stop.
Like she gives you
They
all of
want...
herself is there. Whatever she has is there.
all of it is
Yeah.
there. Like, love me, eat me, drink me
Yes.
kind of thing.
Yes.
And what you just mentioned, if there's something there, it's off.
Yeah.
And also out of bed, it's off.
Yes. I think
It's
you just
off.
really, because you can deal with people out of bed and people put on their persona and people have boundaries, etc. But like when you get in bed, you can't pretend. Like there's no more pretending. Like you get
Exactly. There's this lack of affection. Like the sex may be there, but the affection
yes,
isn't.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's some kind of lack of like intimacy. Like they somehow just can't.
Yeah, and then for you, doesn't become enjoyable either
Yes,
anymore.
yeah.
Though you want to, you would
You would
love
love
to,
to. The
but
girl might be really pretty. I remember this experience. This girl was so pretty, and I'm like totally my type, but just like where is the? There's just something is off.
and then you ask, and then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
such a horrible situation. That's not your problem.
Right, but and, you feel bad for them because at least I feel bad for them. I tend to get overly involved and like, oh, you should do this, you should do that, but you can't do anything. Like people living in a society and like they have all these things, and like the girl will never be like,
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't be drugging myself out of my misery. Maybe I should figure out what my problems
But
are, but that doesn't happen.
it's hard as a guy to, and this is kind of where red pill comes in and just blatantly states like, look, this is not your problem, stop being Captain Savo and don't fix her. Or it's like it has more of a maxim leading you towards the mental model of coming to that conclusion yourself, because you can't lead a horse to water. I dated a girl once. I've dated multiple girls who were on SSRIs or something, but I remember one particular girl. She was on Ritalin for her ADHD. This is years ago. And when she didn't take her Ritalin, she was this bundle of joy,
Mm.
always laughing, smiling, energetic. She once did that Myers Briggs test and she came out as a 100% extrovert. It's like, holy shit. And then she took her Ritalin and she changed. Was a completely different person. And ever since then, I had this, I don't know, this disdain for
Yep.
them. Where it's like, yeah, who are you really dating? You know?
I'd say with birth control pills,
Uh I get it. I get the argument. I've read a lot about birth control. I would not
it's not
categorize them in
as
the same
bad.
camp. Yeah, I would not categorize them in the same camp though.
Yeah, I mean, but I've
But I do get what you're
I've
saying.
definitely had the experience and like firsthand and indirect, friends with a girl and she was on birth control and like, we were kind of friends. We hooked up at some point, but I just didn't feel it for her. And then she stopped taking them and I was like, oh my God, you're actually attractive now. Like she was like
Oh,
objectively
really?
attractive. But I just like,
Yeah.
she was on the pill and I guess that like puts your body into a different different hormonal balance. So it switches up your priorities. And so I just didn't
Have you ever read Your Brain on Birth
no,
Control?
what's that?
It's a horrible book, for two reasons. It's a bit of an eye opener, but the second reason is it was written by a feminist, like a starch feminist, who gets to the conclusion of, hey, birth control bad, like medically and scientifically, birth control bad, and then she goes into her subjective reasoning, where it's like, well, this is actually a good thing. Because, and it's like, oh my god, we've just established this, that women choose wrong partners, that
Yep.
women off birth control tend to divorce their
Yep.
man who they married when they were on birth control, blah 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 blah. We just established all this, and then she comes, well, you know what, but it's a good thing because the pill gave women the choice. It's like, yes, but at what cost? At what cost?
Yeah, well, I mean, they say humans are a rationalizing animal, right? She'll find a reason to like justify whatever
I
the conclusion
I
is
gave
supposed
that
to
book.
be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I gave that book to my married friends, and they just had a daughter and whatever. And even the mom was like, "I am so worried that I once took birth control." She took it way before they ever got married. So they've been together for a long time. But she's like, there was one moment where I took it when I just got my period, and the doctor gave it to me, and she's like, "What the hell?" And already they are, our daughter will never touch that stuff. It even causes depression. Did you know
Oh
that?
yeah, no, I mean it just
Some
like
some birth control causes depression. It's like, what?
humans are complicated and we're so cavalier about just like we don't understand like 1% of the mechanism, but let's just pour something in it that makes it do something.
I know, right? I mean, man, I've seen it up close with my dad. Even the man's overweight, and instead of just dropping the carbs, he started ordering carb blockers. Like, what the fuck? I found those pills. What was it? I was walking through his kitchen. I found those pills. I'm like, Dad, what the hell is this? What the
Well,
hell?
people
Just
choose
stop eating.
convenience, right? And they don't think about the cost. And like, there's always a freaking cost, man. You just don't know what it is. The cost is, and it's almost always bigger than like the benefit.
It always is, and but the people don't want you. People don't want to hear that it takes hard work and effort. Like, how do I get the girls? As Aaron Clary always used to say, the girls. Here's how you get them. You work out. You work on your style. You work on your social skills. You get a little bit more status within a profession of your choosing, and you talk to
Yep.
them.
And you keep
Oh,
talking to
it's
them
like,
until you see them as at least somewhat human and not some sort of like
and the more you talk to them, the less human you will view them as.
I wonder if there's like an arc where when you're young, you're like, they're these mysterious creatures, and you get like really red pill, and you start to, it's okay, they're kind of human, and eventually like, no, I really don't get it at all. Like, I just don't just
Oh, no, no, no. It's more like God. Um they start out as mysterious creatures, then you try to understand them, and then you've never wanted to understand them at
yeah,
all.
kind of. You get you like. I think a lot of us, at least people like me, like I didn't have a lot of connection with my mom. So you see girls, and like part of your subconscious, like you want someone who's going to like be nurturing, and that just isn't there. Like it's definitely not there for you.
No. Women want to be taken care
Yeah.
of. They don't want to take care of
Yep.
you. And that is that might be one of the toughest pills to
Yep.
swallow for a guy. Where no, you don't get to be lazy. You get to be the cornerstone of this relationship and deal with it. Your problems, go to your buddies. She will not be in for it.
Th- like I think that's the majority, and there are women who like do have. I guess this is the not all women are like that. It's not. Yeah.
Naywall.
Yeah. Sorry. But there are reasonable women out there. I think they're just so hard to find. And of course, you can't put everything on them. Although then you get the type of girls that like choose the guys that need massive amount of help. But those girls aren't well either. Maybe they don't choose
It
guys like us.
well, it gets to guidelines where a lot of this red pill stuff take it seriously, not
Yeah.
literally. When I say don't you dare put your problems on your wife's shoulders, in general, don't do that. Of course, there's gonna be a moment in your life, and you are married or whatever, and she comes to you and you're just like, look, babe, things aren't going well. X, Y, and Z. In general, if you don't do it, if you only do it once, there and there has been a lot of investment, it's kind of like, you know what, you can get away with it. I still wouldn't recommend it though, because like it's that internal women ick thing that you can't really explain because she views you as the man who's got it.
Then maybe if she met you that way, I do wonder if like it. If you present yourself a certain way, and then she's looking for a certain thing. If you're like, okay, here's this guy, he's very reliable. And then if you show
Mm-hmm.
weakness and vulnerability later, she's like, I didn't sign up for this.
No, but there's a difference between weakness and
Hmm.
vulnerability. Like when your mom dies or whatever, you can probably tell her, like, hey, this sucks. But then if you lean on her for support and as your only support, that's where the dynamic gets switched, where she has to be more in a masculine role than you. And that's where things usually go south.
Hmm. My experience has been like it depends on the
Know what
woman.
I'm saying? Like, yeah,
It
depends on the
depends. Well, it
woman.
depends on
Hmm.
like if she has nurturing instinct and why she's with you. Like, does she accept you? And I think that just like the majority of women now are just raised so badly. They're looking for exactly what you say they're looking for. And if you're not that,
I'm not gonna say that it's like it depends on the woman, because what I mean is no woman is waiting for a guy she has to take
yeah,
care
that's
of.
true. I'll agree with that. Yes.
And that's kind of what I
Yeah.
mean. Where don't lean on her as your only support because she loves you for what you are, not who you are, kind of thing. Like
Maybe I'm a romantic. I
the
hope there's some amount of who you are also.
yeah, of course, there's some amount, but in general, it's more of the what you are. Are you this badass, providing, safeguarding, arousing, whatever you want to insert there,
Hmm.
that she knows he will take care of himself and I will be taken care of too, kind of thing. Know what I mean?
I think
Instead of the mommy a lot of guys
yes, yes.
want,
No,
because a lot
that
of
is
guys are
true.
looking for their mom.
There's probably like a healthy ratio, right? There's probably some amount that you can expect some nurturing when you need it at times. But if it's too much, and too much might be a very small
Oh,
amount.
why do you think women make fun of the flu for
The
men?
flu?
Like the first thing
Oh, like getting sick?
I don't know if that's
Ah,
yeah, it's like as soon as a guy says I'm sick, oh, he's got man flu.
is that a thing now? Oh my
Yeah, you
god.
don't know. That's been a thing for years. As soon as a man is sick, they make fun of him. Why is that? Because that's that innate
I
ick
feel like people have
of,
gotten just
oh, a
more and
man
more
is sick.
horrible, like in the last like 10 years, like
Man,
drastically
that
more
was a
horrible.
thing when I was a teenager, even.
Is
Holy
that
shit,
so?
this 15.
Okay.
Yeah? You didn't know that?
No,
Japan must be one hell of a haven then.
I mean, well, I wasn't living in Japan as a teenager. I've only been living here a couple of years.
Hmm.
But maybe it's where I grew. I don't know. So I mean, I grew up in like Brooklyn in the 90s, and like
Hmm.
I do feel like people have. I think I'm only a little older than you guys. Well, but people have really
Yeah.
changed. Like people have gotten horrible, like after like 2005.
It has gotten
Yeah,
worse. I will admit it has gotten worse, but that doesn't necessarily have to do with biology. Like what I'm talking about is that innate urge of women to want to find a guy who they can feel
of
safe
course.
with.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah,
And that's kind of what I mean. And sometimes you have to forgive me because I don't always articulate my arguments very well because I am indeed an English second language. So let me try that again, where I just mentioned she wants to find the guy she knows she can be safe with. And as soon as a guy would lean on her for emotional support, that dynamic that she thought she had
mm.
found will flip,
Hmm.
which then will cause her to lose attraction.
Yeah. I think like in a long term relationship, you have to allow for some of that. Like when you're 20 or 30, you shouldn't need too much support. But like as you get older,
Well, and that's kind of the thing. The shouldn't, like, women don't give a crap about should.
oh no, no, no,
They
no. I
really
don't mean that
don't.
they. I don't mean shouldn't in that sense. I just mean if you're thinking, okay, well, how's this person going to be when I'm like 70? Like, am I going to be like, oh, I'm never going to talk to you about my problems and like my body's falling apart? So what I mean by
Mhm.
that is that like I think like our standards for like women have really dropped like a lot. Like and so now we're like, look, we can't show like you can't show weakness. And I completely agree with you. You can't be just like a baby and be like, hey, take care of me.
Yeah, and that's where it's like take it a little bit with a grain of
Yeah.
salt because a lot of the red pill stuff does sound more crude
Yes.
than it actually is. But we get guys who are like fully
The
into
op.
what we used to. Yeah, they're fully into the opposite. What we call like the blue pill
Yeah.
conditioning of like it's okay to be a sensitive little boy, it's okay to talk about your emotions, it's okay to like express your feelings and blah blah blah, to women are these evil hypergamous spiteful fire breathing demons
Yes.
who don't care about your
That just wants
problems.
Chad and Tyrone and they will never give you the time.
Yeah, which I mean, I don't even agree with the Chad and Tyrone bullshit where it's like the 80-20 thing. I hate that so much, and not because it's not true, but it's so misinterpreted. Where when you look at online dating, yes, she goes for the top 20% of the guys in her radius. That's one. Top 20% of guys when she goes out in that club, the top 20%. Have you seen the average guy?
Yeah, it just
It's
modernity has
not
made her
hard.
radius essentially infinite if she chooses it. That's kind of the problem.
Yeah, like the choices are just
Yeah.
infinite. But even at my gym, like people still think I'm 25. It's like I'm not 25. Far from it. It's just like most 34-year-olds look like
They
crap.
do. They look really bad. They look really bad. Um,
Yeah.
do you think it's like
And
stress
then
or lack of activity?
Alcohol, stress, lack of activity, lack of self-care.
Mm.
Horrible diet, which could be categorized in self-care, things like that. It's like I mentioned, I see 16-year-olds on PEDs, performance
Where's that?
enhancing
What's going to
drugs.
happen to them in like 20 years? Are they going to have like
Oh, that's not going to end
no?
well. That is not going to end well for all sorts of reasons. Because when you start that, you kind of have to keep being on it because your hormones are off the scale. Your normal, natural hormonal system doesn't function properly anymore. And then at a certain point, you get too much estrogen, too little testosterone, then again, too much testosterone, too little estrogen, and it just goes everywhere. And I don't know the half of all the issues that can happen if you don't do it under strict medical
And
supervision.
even then, I mean,
Oh, even then, it can come with side effects. The only thing I'm pro for is TRT.
maybe when you're
I'm
older,
not on
right?
it,
Not
but I'm thinking about it when I'm 40. When I'm just like, you know what? Let's go for it. I know that at 35 it naturally declines and things like that, or even at 30, I can't remember. But what you and I were just talking about, like female hormones are so normal, and we just throw them over the counter. Yet when a guy is like, you know what, I want to get my testosterone checks, it's like, Ray, you can't do that. You can't do that. And you're on roids and you're a filthy cheater and blah, blah. It's like, whoa, I just want to get my testosterone checked. What the hell is this about? So there's this stigma too about it
oh,
where
it
I'm
seems to be
like, yeah.
decreasing. Actually, I wanted to ask you, like, so you mentioned like you were good getting the girls, you weren't good at keeping them. Like, how have you
hmm
changed? Since you like started being conscious, started doing all the red pill stuff, being part of the manosphere. Like, what has changed in you?
I care less. I really care less. I'm more of the, is she showing up? Yes. Okay, then we're good. And then I go from there. Where I used to when I was younger, I would very much care about the status of the relationship, about the harmony in the relationship, about if everything is going well. And now I'm way more pragmatical about it. Like, is she texting me? Good.
She's not
Is
texting
she
you.
coming?
All right.
Nah, she's probably like getting railed or something by 3, 5 black guys somewhere in a street corner. Like just imagine the most darkest thing possible. And then like 2 minutes later, like, hey, it's like, oh, okay, she's good. It's like a
The
pleasant
guys are done.
surprise. Yeah, pleasant surprise. She's not a cheating whore. No, but just judge her way more by her actions than words is also a big one.
And hope,
Like the
right?
amount of
Like not
times.
not not buying into your own hope.
Oh, that one's a big one too. Although I did fall for it a while back, where I'm like, oh well, life's great again. I found one, and then it's like, no,
Didn't
never
work
mind,
out.
never mind. No, it did not work out. Long story, but where it the harmony, especially of the relationship, now I put more on her because I'm actually pretty chill. Where it's like, oh, you want to come over? Sure. Oh, you want to hang out? Sure. Like, I'm actually very easygoing. So if I have an issue, I rarely have an issue when everything is in order. It's like, oh, she shows up, she's naked, we're having fun. Good. Best relationship ever. Where I used to be like, is everything okay? Do you still like me? Blah, blah, blah. And now I'm just like, well, you know what? If you don't like me, somebody else will.
So you've gotten like a lot more secure, essentially, and confident.
Yes, and a lot more detached, but not detached enough. There's still somewhere in me every now and then that hopes like, oh, love exists. It's still a little bit there. It's still a bit there.
Love
It's
does
it's
exist,
covered.
man. It's but if you
It's
think
covered
about it,
under these layers and walls of like of misogyny. It's like women are evil deep down. I just want one to love me.
I think all of us want that. That's the
No.
thing. The problem is that you know, uh, if you act like it, then you won't get it. Like,
Yeah, but that's the crude paradox of the
yes,
universe. If you don't want it, you'll get it.
yes.
If you don't want it, you'll get it. No, but and when she's angry, I Well, have fun being angry. Like her emotions are not my problem.
Yeah, that's one of the things I had to learn too. And it's interesting we talk about it as red pill, and I think like so much of this is like mental health and boundaries, like stated in a very
Yeah.
different way.
You come for the women and you leave with
Yes,
self-actualization.
exactly. Yeah.
Go read Ryan Stone. Anybody listening to this, please, Ryan Stone, Frame and Dread, go listen to them. Those are the best books we've ever had, in all honesty. That plus the first two books by Rollo, it's like then you're done. If you want to know what Red Pill is, those four books plus No More Mr. Nice Guy and When I Say No I Feel Guilty.
Yes, yeah,
Congratulations. You have now
basically,
passed
yeah.
the bar. You have passed the bar of the Red Pill exam. Good job.
It's not like fresh and fit like yelling at a bunch of whores.
I hate that stuff so
Oh,
much.
why do you hate it?
I Because it's garbage. It's not helpful. It's not helpful. It's not productive. It's look at us shaming women and letting women say dumb shit.
And they pick like the
And
dumbest. Like I mean, those are not like our typical women. Those are like the worst examples you could think of.
yeah, no, I recommend Axis Vegas by Rolo over Fresh and Fit, in all honesty.
Access.
And that I don't even watch that often at all, actually, lately. But it's what I find so unproductive about it is that none of the tools come forward.
Hmm.
Where, let's say, one of these girls goes off. There's no negative assertion, no negative inquiry. There's no agree and amplify, no amused mastery, nothing. It's just Myron spitting
Yeah,
facts.
that works on the guys who already
Yeah, where
agree.
it's like, oh, look at him proving her wrong. I'm like, yeah, but it's just what did you achieve? You know? And like, of course she's gonna be wrong. Have you ever met a woman who's right? Let's be honest.
Well, if he's met them, he doesn't invite them on to sit in that side of the table anyway.
Yeah. But in Myron's fairness, the man has more money than I will ever have.
I feel like he's suffering
So,
for it.
and I
Like
don't know.
he
I
has to
think he's
spend his
pretty.
professional life like dealing with these women, these like insufferable people.
He's he's pivoting more to politics now from what last time I
Might be
checked.
less insufferable.
But I mean, but he is successful. So from a marketing red pill perspective of him becoming the most successful guy he can be, he's winning.
Yeah, yeah,
He is winning. Like I hate the
yeah.
content,
But obviously, lots of
but
people
the
love it. Yeah, that's
creator,
true.
I'm like, get yours, Myron. Get yours. Like, he's winning.
Is it hard to make money in the red pill space, or like men's self improvement in general?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. Like, it's the same as every other space. Like I always compared it to fitness because the fitness space is so oversaturated and there's so much garbage in there. They're really because it's kind of the same thing. How do I get the girls? How do I get the abs?
Mm.
I want to get my abs as fast and easy as possible. Yeah, sorry, kid, it's not going to work.
Like it's not that complicated; it's just difficult.
It takes a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah, it's difficult.
For me, it was one of the most easiest things I've ever achieved, in all honesty. But in all fairness, I kind of started out as a twink.
Ah,
So, and I'm still a twink. So, but if you just, and I say just as if it's easy, but this is the hard part. The consistency is hard. And there's a book out there called Brain Over Binge where I have been guilty of shitting on fat people for like being fat, blah, 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 blah. But obesity is a mental disorder.
mm.
If from a certain point of view, quoting Obi-Wan there, but like from a certain point of view, it is because these people don't get obese per se because they hunger for food, but it often stems from
Hmm.
depression.
Yeah, stress.
It often stems stress, depression, loneliness, sadness, which is kind of the same thing, unresolved mental trauma, and they find comfort in eating.
Yep.
Sorry, that cold's still not completely gone. And so I say just while knowing that, and I think to myself, no, for people like that, it is incredibly hard
Yeah.
to get abs. But the hard part wouldn't even be going to the gym. The hard part wouldn't even be the consistency of exercises. The hard part there would be resolving the underlying trauma and the reasons why they want to eat. Because they don't eat because they're
Yeah.
hungry. They really don't. They really don't eat because they're hungry. They eat because they're bored, because they're sad, because they want to forget. It's the same as smoking. When at a certain point, certain thoughts become a
Yep.
trigger for smoking, where it's like, oh, I'm thinking of this person again. Better light one up.
I think it's similar
Where
with like dating advice, like red pill dating, just general manosphere dating advice. A lot of it is like, don't do this, don't text a girl, be detached. But like the reason we're overly attached and overly reactive is like it's not like you can just say, hey, don't do this. We're like, okay, cool.
No, it doesn't work like that because No More Mr. Nice Guy by
Yes.
Dr. Robert Glover. This is why this is such a good book and why it's recommended so much on the sidebar, and every other like red pill content creator who's worth his salt will recommend you that
Yes. Yeah.
book because it goes through that. Like, why are you so attached? Why are you so desperate for affection? Why are you so desperate for validation? And you get these taking action exercises and you go through them and then you figure out, like, holy shit, I never got that, hey, attaboy from
Yep.
dad, or my mom was in an insufferable whatever
Didn't
who
like me no matter what I
never
did.
gave me. Exactly. My mother never wanted me. And now I am looking for her replacement. Which comes back to my original argument that women in general don't want
Yes.
that. They don't want a son, they want a husband, sort of say. Or Chad or Tyrone, who fucks them three
Whatever,
extra
whatever part of
sideways.
the, whatever they're in the mood for at that moment. And
Yeah, exactly. I mean, their mood swings all the time. It's like, I'm hungry. I'm sad. Dick. I used to make such terrible jokes with friends of mine. When we were talking about girls or whatever, and she's complaining. She just wants dick.
it's jokes, but then I hate saying it because like I'm older and should be more. But sometimes it's true. Like just like us, like when I was younger, I had a hard time directly expressing my needs and sometimes being aware of them. But like that's like round. That's women are the same. Sometimes it's
I used to have a girlfriend who just knew. And I came home and I had a stressful day at work, and I came home and she was on her knees. I'm like, you're a godsend.
right.
You're a godsend. She just knew. Where it's like, yeah, no, sometimes men are so easy. I never get it when I hear a woman complain online. I can't find a man like 29 and single. It's like, I will guarantee you there was a man in your past and you fucked it up.
Oh, I mean, I
I
guarantee you, there's
guarantee.
like 50 men in her DMs right now. They're not good enough.
Something like that. But she had a guy who was madly in love with her and she was madly in love with him, and she messed it up somewhere. Because women who don't mess it up are not online
That's true.
complaining
That's
about it.
true. Um, I'm thinking about like high school, and there was just like I went to a pretty fancy high school, and I guess the people that were more well raised than average.
Well, you are of the chosen
That's
people.
right.
Let's be
Yes,
honest
that's why.
here. I had to get
Let's
one
get
in
one in
there.
there. No, I by all means. Um, but the best ones, they all got married. You never find them. They don't exist in the dating market. Like they got together, they found someone, they have kids. They're
I
not.
have coworkers. I have coworkers who have a girlfriend, and I look at them. I'm like, be happy,
Yeah,
be happy. And they look at me like, what do you mean? And I just sit there as this old sailor, like
I've
begrudging.
seen this.
You just be happy. I've seen it. Be happy, kid. It's so pretty. It's like, and some people could say the same thing for guys. Though goose, gander, men and women are not the same. Men have always wanted sex. Men were meant to go online on forums to swap notes with each other
Yes,
and figure out how to
and I
get
think
laid. It
they're on
was just
average
a
better
matter of
for it.
time.
I don't think the women are on
Yeah.
average better for the feedback they get.
Have you ever seen Vogue magazine tell a woman to work out, wear lingerie, and suck his dick?
No,
Find me the
she deserves
magazine,
someone
and I
better.
will find me the magazine, and I will delete my YouTube channel. Not really, though, but find me the magazine. You will not find it.
Yeah, as much as like
Like,
some of the dating advice for guys could be like, yeah, that's a little much. That could be a little toxic. Like the dating advice for women is in a whole like all the advice is like you deserve better. No matter what the problem is, it's his fault and you could do better.
which I do think, and I do want to give for all my shenanigans, I do pity women
Hmm.
as much as I pity men. Not at well, no, I pity. No, I don't pity men at all. I don't know what I feel when it comes to like the male dating experience, what I really feel. But for women, I do feel pity because, god damn, women have been lied
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Women do get the long end of the stick, but do they really though? Like when a man gets, and not everybody's gonna like me saying this, but when a man gets brutally,
Destroyed by life.
like yeah, destroyed in divorce court or whatever, finances can be earned
Yeah.
back. Material can be bought back. And age doesn't affect us as much.
I mean, it affects us, but yeah,
As a
you're. It's not as
girl,
much. It's not, and it's not as sudden, and it's like
no.
you can if you want to, like in your 50s, go to fucking Southeast Asia and find a good-looking woman, actually quite good-looking, that will be totally into you.
You can even go to South
Yeah, that's true.
America and do it. If you are in your 50s and you're
Yep.
ripped, holy hell, you can do it in America. You can do it in Europe. Like I said, like the top 20% thing, I hate that whole argument because, like, I'm in the top 20% of 34-year-olds by looks alone because I'm not overweight. That already puts me up there. It's like, it's so easy. And then when you dive deeper into it, I'm writing a Substack about it, but it's so dense that I haven't been able to finish it because it goes into like top 20% of what we're talking about, earnings, blah, blah, blah. Did you know? I still have that here. Thank the Lord. This is so interesting. Did you know that in 2022 alone, 43% of adults aged 18 years were overweight and 60% were living in
Wait,
obesity?
18?
That's, yeah, from age 18.
My God.
And in 2002, 1 in 8 people in the world were living in obesity. The average global income is $9,733 per year.
That takes into account like sub-Saharan Africa, though.
Yeah, but still, it's like top 20% of what? Making over $100,000 a year puts you in the top 20% of global earners. Global. It's the FIRE movement from financially
Yep.
independent retirement early. These guys understood that. Where it's like, no, you want to earn the most valuable currency in the cheapest country
Yep.
possible. Now, of course, and Rob told me this, my co-host from Red Evening, Rob says, there's always trade-offs. Like the Netherlands has the cleanest drinking water, second to some Scandinavian country. Fuck them. I don't like those people. Except for them, we have the cleanest drinking water in the world. So if I were to move, I would have to give that up. So it is a bit of a trade-off. But if I move and I accept the terms of the condition, I'd be in a higher percentage status than I would be here.
And being white also,
So
depending where you go.
that too. I mean, oh man, I have such a dark joke about that, but I'm not
Not,
gonna.
not
I am
after.
not. No. After the show, I'll tell you. Oh my god, would have been perfect timing though. The timing would have been oof, but no, let's not. That's the problem with humor, It's like it gets misinterpreted, and then you get lynched and canceled, and we don't want
No.
that. But that's why I dislike that top 20% thing so much because it's like, where are you? Top 20% of what? Because top 20% globally is not that hard. It really is not. Top 20% of 34-year-olds, maybe in earnings, It's a bit
Top
harder,
20% of
but
guys in New York City, pretty hard in Manhattan.
mm, oh yeah, probably Vegas,
Yeah,
probably. Um, name Saudi Arabia, probably. What else we got?
yeah.
Dubai. Oh yeah, that's gonna be rough. Dubai's gonna be rough since like every top 20% of the world is going there. So it's like if you're top 20% of the top 20%, holy shit, I don't even want to know what that guy looks like.
Yeah.
But then you get to like the apex fallacies. Believe me, not every girl is going for that. I walk outside and I see ugly people breeding all the
Yeah,
time.
that's such a good point because you're like, oh, only these hot guys breed. It's like, well, how do all these ugly people get here then? Like
Yeah, it's
they
like
all had kids, right? Like it's not, like if you're not
it's,
beautiful, like clearly your parents managed to somehow fit it together.
I know, right? Like, what happened? And I was talking to guys in my gym. These kids were 17 and they were like, I'm like, hey, how's your dating going? Because, like we were young. And they're like, oh, women only care about the 3 6s. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you're 17.
That's some.
Girls don't even know what an income is. He's like, yeah, no, but they only care about tall guys and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, do they really, though? What's the last time you've approached? And he couldn't even give me that. And it's like, of course. But they are consuming so much of this online rhetoric where I think to myself, it's such a shame.
But you know what? I mean, isn't that the whole point that we're at least giving them like at least they're going to be more cautious than like our generation. We're like, women are wonderful. They're just pure souls. They're romantic. They're loyal. Like maybe the
Yeah,
pendulum's
but it was good. For all the suffering I've been through, it was good. You know?
being like
Know what I'm
naive.
saying? Because what I just told you, like, if a man gets burned, he can get
Yeah,
back. He can get back from it. And it's good. I wish heartache on all of you. It's like, I hope you go through it, but I hope you get over
and
it.
get past it
Because
and
that
grow.
version of you, yeah, you get past it and grow. Because that version of you is just going to be a little bit better than the version you were before that.
And I guess
And it's going to be
yeah.
rough.
If
It's going to be rough. But when you get there, it's so
Well, how
good.
many men can really go through that journey though? Like, do you think it's something that all guys can do? A lot of guys do just break down and they can't face it.
Depends on when and
Mm.
where. This is why I don't like the chase excellence. And
Get cars,
no, what was it?
wait at the finish line.
Chase excellence. Yeah, I like chase excellence, not women, because then you don't have experience with
Yes.
women. Now, when you have the experience with women, you kind of, I won't say it's a failsafe, but you tend to not rush into things as fast. Now, if you marry the first woman you meet and you become successful, yeah, the chance of you getting um, sued for or divorced for everything you are way, are way higher. But if you've been through heartache, you've been through dates, you kind of know the game, you kind of know how things are going,
Yeah,
and
I totally agree with
you
you.
don't.
I have a buddy who's like got famous on YouTube. Like he's pretty successful, not
Ooh.
famous, but like successful, and it's like oil. It's like adding oil to the fire. So now he's got a lot of money. He likes like skanky looking, like materialistic women. I'm like,
Oh, my type of guy. God damn it, man.
well, but he doesn't have like
You know my
you know
type.
what I'm talking about. Like I'm like, that's exactly the kind of woman that only wants your money. Like, can't you see? Like, everything about her is advertising. Like, I don't love anyone except for money. And now he has
No.
money, and now he can get. And it's like, and so I think maybe these guys are saying that chase excellence. It's like that's fine if you have the other stuff down. Like, if you understand people,
Yes.
like
Yes.
maybe the Tates can do that, but those guys were never in danger of simping.
No,
The-
they never were.
Whereas a lot of us guys that are
No.
like, I mean, us, maybe more me than you. If I had had a different
Mm.
path and I made good money, and I would have.
I mean, look at me. You think chicks dig this? The weird mop on my head?
What a good-looking guy to be. What do I know? I'm not the one.
I know. I'm fucking with you.
But yeah, I think it's better to just like get burned a lot and do it as young as possible when you have nothing.
Yes. Yes, go out there and suffer.
Yeah.
Because those make the best guys, those make the best stories. Where it's like, oh, I dated this chick once, and it's like, oh, here we go. They're gonna be
I
good.
have many of
It's like,
those. All right, man. Actually, we're coming up in an hour. So for people who want to hear more about how you should suffer, and who for some reason don't know Jack, where do they find you?
oh, I would very much appreciate it if they go to my Substack. It's so the video persona is a little bit different from the written persona. In my writing, I tend to be a lot more serious, a lot more expansive, not per se argumentative, but I'm better at steel walling my arguments and articulating them better. So I would very much like them to go to my Substack, jacknapier.substack.com. A new Substack every Sunday. I would very much appreciate that. Other than that, my YouTube channel, Jack Napier Knows.
And
And
the X's or the Twitters?
oh yeah, the Twitter is Jack Napier Not, because my previous account, Jack Napier Knows, got booted.
Any idea why?
Because I
Did you
goatee.
say the wrong thing about the wrong?
Okay, so I made a tweet saying, ladies, you do realize that when they ban porn, you're gonna have to put out for your husband. And that got popular with the wrong crowd. I had so many middle-aged soccer moms in my mentions calling me the most heinous of heinous things. No, they all broke terms of service. I got death threats
For
over
that,
that tweet.
what's
Oh, because they were saying they said I was advocating for grape.
how?
I
Doesn't
know.
sound like that to me at
And
all.
some of them called me a kid diddler and whatever. And I got so sick and tired of it, I started goatseeing a couple of them. You know what a goatsee is?
I think I vaguely remember from back in the day.
Yes, deep internet lore,
Yes.
right there. So I started posting that image as a reply.
Okay. Well, there you go.
And then some of the Karens reported me for assault, even though they literally gave me death threats and they were calling me a kid diddler. I'm like, yeah, eat a dick. And then all of a sudden, yeah, you lost your account. You got suspended. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I was this close to monetization.
Was this
Like,
pre Elon?
no, this was during
During
Elon.
Elon. Well, he can't
I
save everyone.
tagged Elon. I tagged Elon so many times, like, "Hey, buddy, you want to look at this?" And of course, he ignores me, the plebeian I am. He's too busy with Haley Hawk to a girl. Did you see that? Did you see that? By the way, oh my god, her first podcast episode, millions of views. Second, 500,000. Third,
The
200,000.
exponential decay curve.
Yeah, absolute decline. And the comments are gold. If you want to be entertained, go check the comments on the Hawk Tua
Will do.
podcast. It's, it's hilarious.
All right, man. So now that everyone knows where to find you, yeah, we're gonna have to do another one of these at some point.
Oh man, I'd love to. I
All
love it.
right, peace.
Cheers.